Do we have audio? Can you guys hear me? Who needs a nutrition challenge? / who is in a healthy mindset for a nutrition challenge? Somebody who is totally unaware of what healthy real food is, or how to choose it, buy it, make it, order at a restaurant, then a nutrition challenge is perfect for you. 21-day Sugar Detox, jump into one of the meal plans in Practical Paleo, 30 days. You are the perfect person to do something like that because you have a lot to learn. You have a lot to learn about making food choices. You have a lot to learn about how this stuff works in your body, okay? The second type of person who is sort of the right person, or somebody who might need a challenge, somebody who physically doesn't feel well with the choices that you're making about food. So if you are feeling like there is just something that's not working and it could be your food, a nutrition challenge can be a great reset, a great reboot. In this case, that person who's not feeling physically well will learn about which specific foods were probably not feeling good for them. My third kind of category of people who might have a more positive experience going into it, somebody who has a very experimental spirit. That can be a tricky gray line because some people think that that's them. You might think that you're like, well, I just want to try things, but let me talk about who should avoid them. And if you think you also are the person who should avoid them, then that's going to weigh a little bit more heavily here. Who should avoid them? If you know what healthy food is, you know how to balance your plate, you know what works for you and what doesn't. And I think this is probably one of the most important things I'm gonna say. Most of the time we're not honest with ourselves about what's been going down the pie hole. Most of the time we think we need a challenge, we need somebody else's rules to tell us what's right and wrong to eat. And I think the truth is most of us know we don't feel good eating 6 cookies for breakfast. But you don't need a challenge to tell you not to eat 6 cookies for breakfast. And if you want to eat 6 cookies for breakfast and you feel good doing it, then by all means do it. But if you're not feeling well, you don't need a challenge to tell you that. When I say to not do a nutrition challenge, I don't mean don't make better choices about what's going on your plate. What I mean is the nutrition challenge isn't going to solve the problem. What I mean is there's an emotional issue there. You're probably feeling sad or lonely or anxious or bored, and that's what needs to be addressed. It has nothing to do with the food. You hit a point where you realize there is something else that I am feeding, and it's not my appetite for nourishment. It's an appetite for something else, and it's probably an emotional void. If you are feeling emotionally unwell versus physically unwell, and you know the right foods to eat, changing the food isn't the answer. You come out of that challenge, the emotional issues are not necessarily going to be gone. Maybe you're better able to deal with them when you cut the sugar and you cut the alcohol and you kind of force yourself into making better choices that are healthier for yourself. So you start building confidence and you feel better about yourself. I think that that can be a positive. So all of this stuff, there's a little bit of gray area, right? So when is enough enough? Doing a reset, like a 21-day Sugar Detox or some kind of challenge once a year, that's no big deal. Look, if you've done the same challenge 3 times or more, and every time you do it, you're either on it or you're off, and you're not taking the lessons, you're not applying it to the rest of your life, you're not figuring out how to reincorporate some foods, especially if you do something like a juice cleanse, which you guys, I don't care what you want to do, but if you're drinking juices for 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, you're not learning anything about how to eat to feel better by doing that. I think it's really important to reassess what you think you're doing there. You're not going to undo a weeks-long bender of junky food and alcohol with a 3-day juice cleanse. I am not an eating disorder expert, but it's almost like a binge and purge cycle in a different way, where we think that we can insult ourselves, insult our bodies, make choices that we know don't feel good, and then we can erase it all with 3 days of drinking juice. This is the caveat that I have. If you are a coach, if you're a nutrition coach, if you're one of my 21 DSD, 21-day Sugar Detox certified coaches, if you are a health coach, a CrossFit coach, if you're a personal trainer, and you are gonna go through a nutrition challenge with your client or group of clients out of solidarity, I think it is important as often as you can to really be along with them. But if you're running a group every single month, you don't need to be doing a sugar detox every single month. If you keep doing the same challenge over and over again, and you sort of start and fail, first of all, you guys need to know that changing your food days 3 through 7 are pretty much always the worst. Maybe through 10, depending on how poorly you were eating before. Every time you go through a nutrition challenge, you almost invariably will drop your carbohydrate intake. What happens on days 3 through 7 is that your body is tapped out on your stored glycogen, and you're feeling that. You're feeling that you don't have a lot of extra carbohydrate. So you are gonna feel pain in those days. So if you keep starting a challenge and stopping in days 3 through 7 or before that, because it's uncomfortable, it's not about the food, you guys. It's not about the food. There's a lack of commitment, a lack of self-respect, and a lack of effort towards discipline. At this stage, you haven't created any kind of new habits. You have to be really disciplined, and it's never easy. It's not easy, but it doesn't get easier by not doing it, that's for sure.
That's all I've got for you guys today. Remember, I post new videos every week. Subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think of this video, or to share what you want to learn more about from me. I'll see you next week.
When I say to not do a nutrition challenge, I don't mean don't make better choices about what's going on your plate. What I mean is the nutrition challenge isn't going to solve the problem. What I mean is there's an emotional issue there. You're probably feeling sad or lonely or anxious or bored, and that's what needs to be addressed. It has nothing to do with the food.